What is going on, folks? Will Turbid, aka the one and only true reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard, forever and ever. Fake Mike! Ooh, real news. Guys, this is going to be an epic stream. Live, we are live. Ladies, gentlemen, however you choose to identify. Mike, good to see you here. That's right, when I'm in France, I go by Fake Michel. Fake Michel de Notre Dame. Fake Mike, real L. Ron Hubbard. Okay, that's what we got going on here. We're gonna have some guests. We're gonna have some dope information for you guys here too. I've been saving up a lot of information. I'm gonna see if I can actually pull up another tab and get those FOIA emails that I requested from some police chiefs and mayors. We can dive into those together. Twyla's in the house. The tribe, always good to see you, the tribe. Let's get my Gmail crack-a-lackin'. We're going to go through some news, too. Finishing off this. Adrian, good to see you. What up? What up, Pure Blood? Oh, man, MAGA, that's not cool. Man, you still messing with Trump after the warp speed? Futoy, I'm going to message you. Miss Futoy, Mr. Universal, I'm going to message you on... you guys could join up if you want. Let me get the StreamYard link. Hold on. I'm going to send it to you guys on Facebook. Bear with me. My computer's running. Oh, yeah. We here. We live. That's right. Take a lesson from me, guys. Confront your fears. In the famous words of Fake Mike, real Elron, confront your fears. So, and also, guys, it's been a while since I've done a StreamYard, so bear with me. It's going to be a chill stream. We got Joko, Kansas. What up? Boston Metal, Eric. AFE, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys ever seen the Jurassic Quest promo video? Maybe we'll play that. Copyright strike. All right, it's going to be a little slow starting here, guys, so get yourself a snack, a drink. You got some guests. I've already sent the invites out to some people. Bear with me. Usually, I'm always in a fast pace. When I go down south, people are like, "You from up north, aren't you, boy?" I do declare, Mr. Beauregard. I sure hope they bring those boys home from the wall. And even up north, they think I talk fast. So chill out. We're going to have a comfy, chill stream. And so sit tight here. Get the scream out to everybody. Let's see. Jesus crackers. If you just join in, hit the thumbs up for me. Do me a favor, hit the thummies. Share the video. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I got a lot of news to cover. We got some dope memes, and a lot of information that you're probably not going to hear in many other places. I don't know why this, Mr. Universal and Futoy, there we go. Futoy, if it's easier, my thing is going so slow. If you just message me on Facebook right now, I'll send you the link. Here we go. Starting to load up here. We're having a thunderstorm, so that might be it. Bet. Thanks, Futoy. All right, perfect. All right, I'm gonna send these out and get back to the strizzy. And I might have guests waiting there too, so already. So thank you for your patience. Of course, find me at the links in the description for my social media. All right, Facebook, that takes a lot of freaking processing. My email's loading. All right, let's let that boy load. All right, we got the Google News and we got the StreamYard. Let's get back to StreamYard. All right, 23, okay. All right. Thank you very much, Jamie. Lola, what up? Deanna, good to see you. Mrs. J, I sent you the link on Telegram. Join up. Tiki's Bright, welcome. Toast. What up, Toast? All right. And we are joined by the illustrious, the one and only
How's it going?
Food Toy. What up, pimp?
All right, my man. How's things?
Things are doing pretty darn good. How about yourself?
Kapla! I'm up for the glory of the Klingon Empire.
Good. Long live the Klingon Empire. You guys know I can't hate but respond to the haters. I love doing it. Pure Blood, Super Straight Maga says, the text moves faster if you have more than 20 viewers. Timmy has 40K nightly. Okay, great. How many viewers does Fox have? How many viewers does CNN have?
Who's Timmy?
Who the hell is Timmy? I don't even care about Timmy.
Who's Timmy?
Anybody supporting Trump, I'll listen to it, but I honestly, I've confronted General Flynn. I made Jack Posobiec do the walk of shame. I've confronted Greg Pence. I've confronted Milo Yiannopoulos. All these Trump supporters, and on and on and on. No Trump supporter can beat me in a debate. Why?
This is a real dude right here.
Well, I don't care if I'm real or not. The only thing I tell you.
Oh, you are. Oh, you are so real. So real. So full of heart.
It doesn't make a difference if I'm real or deep fake. The only thing that matters is I'm telling you people to think for yourself and question even what I say. These people are saying that Trump has all these people at Guantanamo, and Jeff Sessions and JFK Jr. are saving us from the deep state. Welcome to the live stream, Mrs. J. Mrs. J, welcome. I love Mrs. J. Everyone, round of applause. Round of applause for Mrs. J in the chat.
Hello! It's me! I'm closing my door so I can smoke a joint.
And I'm not meaning to be mad at you, Super Straight MAGA. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm not. Even if I just wake up one person, that's cool. I've already woken up at least one person, so already my life has been a victory. So I've woken up one person. Every single person that I've awakened, that's a good thing. And when I awaken people, that means I just get them to see information that they didn't see before, and I tell them incessantly to think for yourself. Don't take anything I say as gospel or anything that anybody says is gospel. Go research it yourself, think for yourself, use an open but skeptical mind, be nonviolent, use the Socratic method. So, hey, that's what's going on. And, regardless, I could sit here for months, and we're going to cover some news. So we're going to bring up some of these names for sure, too. But what I want you guys to understand is I don't care if it's Jesus Christ and Buddha 2024. There's no way we can vote our way out of this. There's no candidate that's going to save us. The only way that we can save ourselves is through expressing human freedom and doing it non-violently. That's the only way we can do this. Anybody else that says, hey, we need to get violent or we need to vote for somebody to way out of this, that you're just not going to do it. Now, again, don't take my word for it, but just go see. So yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. How deep you are. Like you just basically said, like, don't rely on other people to do it for you. Let's do it for ourselves. That's so fucking true. You know,
pretty basic. It's pretty basic, and
I
need to learn that lesson still myself. But at the end of the day, that's part of the problem with this country and many other countries is we go to the ballot box every 4 years, and if our guy wins, then we shut the hell up, and then if our guy loses, we might protest here and there, but those protests are always partisan, and the way it's easy to defeat them is like, oh, the Republicans only protest, the Republicans are back to blue, and now all of a sudden they don't like the FBI, right? Trump himself was saying, JFK, who he had his problems too. I'm no huge fan of JFK, although random side note, JFK and Grover Cleveland are my two best presidents, although they definitely had massive problems themselves. What's up, For the Record? What's up, Lori Markle? By the way, too, while I'm ranting, and I'll probably forget what I was even talking about right now, I want you guys to go ahead and Mrs. J and Futoy, if you can put your links in the chat, or if a moderator could do that. Axiom's Revolt, good to see you. I want you guys to, while we're chatting it up here, subscribe to Futoy and Mrs. J. The content that you're not going to, you guys know I bring all sorts of different type of guests on. And Futoy, you got to watch his content because they both have very varied content. And I'm going to leave it at that. I want you to go over and subscribe to find out. And yeah, so the Republicans, they're back to blue until it happens to you. That's what I was talking about. Donald Trump, JFK said, "I will shatter the CIA into 1,000 pieces," and Donald Trump says, "I love the CIA. Nobody loves the CIA more than me." And he loves the FBI. He loves all this, and now the FBI is raiding him. The same FBI director that he appointed, I believe.
No way.
Yeah, the same one. And you know what? This is this. What the thing is, Republicans should have been, and I'll get to you liberals next too. But Republicans should have been upset about this for a very long time. The FBI I'm referring to is because one, Mr. Egg Sandwich was a FBI informant. Then you have them helping cook up the Gretchen Whitmer plot to kidnap the Michigan governor, the 1993 World Trade Center thing, plus the egg salad victims were reaching out as far back as 96, 2002. FBI did nothing. Why? Because he was an informant, right? The same FBI that run counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO for short, that's not only black, but people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, but also white anti-war protesters, and worked their way into the movements and subverted it. And now, because Trump is bad. I mean, like, another example is I was observing, the events unfold on January 6th. And I'm like, wow, it's funny because the Republicans, now they're storming the Capitol. The majority were nonviolent, but people were breaking in, but people were also let in. And I also always decry property violence or any destruction of property or theft or anything like that. And I condemn the people that did those actions. But it's funny that the Republicans get all uppity and want to go to the Capitol when their election is stolen from their guy. But we've had elections stolen in the past. We have the NSA spying. We have the illegal wars, the Federal Reserve banking system, a whole list of things that people get upset, but only when they steal the election from the orange Cheeto dictator. Toast, how can you get on a call with me? Good question. Why don't you send me a message first on FakeMicRealNews@gmail. I have my email open, so send me a message. Tell me what you want to chat about, and I will be busy a little bit in the next week or so until I get myself settled. But I will square away some time to talk to you. And another thing I have to say to you guys, in general, I've been stupid busy with somebody put Mrs. J's and Futoy's links in the chat. I've been super busy doing a lot of things, and so in the next week or so, I'm going to get myself settled, and I'm going to already have more time for a lot of these projects that I've been working on. And also, so I'm saying that to say this: if you reach out to me in the past and I haven't gotten back to you, just send me another email. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? And so I've just been busy, and I've been in oblivion doing all this shit. So just feel free to send me another email saying like, "Hey, Will, you forgot about me, you loser. Please, you said you're gonna help me." You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing the best I can, but now in the next couple weeks here, I should be in a better position. So if you want to send me some emails, it's FakeMicRealNews@gmail.com. That's FakeMicRealNews@gmail.com, or that's the best way to get in touch with me. But also I have the links to my social media down in the chat. So before we continue, when we start getting to these news and these emails, starting with Mrs. J, why don't you tell people about your channel and a little bit about who Mrs. J is?
Hello. I am Mrs. J, aka Abby. It's nice to meet you all. My channel, it was taken down. So, hey, we know that one. So this is my new channel, what you've got here. So shall I put the link in? Let me just do that, and then you can all come and say hello. There's me, a jumbled group of letters. There I am. What? I'm an activist. I'm a believer in following the white rabbit. I am that person who, if I want to go and see what's going on, I'll go right down, deep down into the warren of the White Rabbit. And I like to mix it with music and laughter and silliness. I'm called Mrs. J because I smoke marijuana. I smoke cannabis every day. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret. And that kind of is me. How does that sum me up for you, Toy? What do you reckon?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you're investigative.
yeah,
You like mysteries. You have pursued the Scientology, the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Illuminati, the
yeah.
what do you call them? The guys with the triangle and
Amazing.
the Masons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's me. Thank you, Futoy.
and also you play music on your channel.
I do play music on the
Honestly,
channel because I don't give a flying fuck. It's if they do it again, they take it because I don't care anymore. Take the channel down. You've heard what I've got to say. I'm one of those
I
people
think,
who just do
yeah, I
it.
think you're a fighter. I
Yeah,
definitely think you're a fighter. I think you stand up for what you feel is right, and I
yeah.
really appreciate that about you. You know.
Thank you. That means a lot. I didn't know you were going to say that. That's really nice.
Yeah,
Thank
it's true.
yeah, yeah. Thank
All right,
you.
Futoy. Let's start with your background too. Let's start. Let's say 8.5 months in the womb, and then if you want to just give us a timeline narration from then till present.
Well, I can remember back 7 billion years,
That's right.
Ah,
He's a Klingon.
yes.
and now I have special abilities, and I can fly and everything. But I can still catch
Wow.
corona, so I got to still wear a mask because I
That's
can
right.
still
You still
catch
need gloves
corona.
and a mask
I
outside.
am only OT5. I completely and utterly look up to you. I do. You know, you're past OT5. That's just blown my mind.
But the
Right. Futoy's got
problem is
big pockets.
7 billion years ago, I left the iron on.
Oh, no. You need to get a man with a red t-shirt.
My electricity bill's going to be huge.
Your electricity bill's going to be huge.
Oh wow, look at this, guys. I was talking with Jamie Dimon, and we love you, Will. You're a smart cookie. Okay, tell Jamie Dimon to give me $1 million. I'll still talk about everything. Or you know what? Maybe just maybe. No, I still have to talk about everything. But tell Jamie Dimon to give me $1 million. What the heck?
Dear Jamie, could we
Bring up Jamie
possibly,
Dimon on screen.
if it's okay with you, have $1 million? I'd prefer pounds. I'll be honest. To fight the tyranny that is the fucktards that are Scientology, please. Is that all right?
Yes. See, let's see.
Jamie Dimon?
Oh, I thought I had it on screen. Yep.
Oh, this guy.
If that's, I know that's a troll, but it's
Yeah.
funny because we get some funny trolls here on this channel. Like we got one where the guy's screen name and profile was John McCain, and I still believe it is actually John McCain. We got Hillary Clinton in here too. So Jamie Dimon is my spirit animal, as you can see, guys. American billionaire, businessman, and banker. He could give me $1 million and it wouldn't be nothing. It would be no sweat to him. And chief executive officer at JP Morgan Chase. So, hey guys, JP Morgan, he loves me. So does John McCain. So does Hillary Clinton. George Bush probably loves me too. They all love me. It doesn't make a difference if the left or right. These guys turn into my channel. So, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, I would. If that's true, I need proof. Video or it doesn't happen. So I thought that was pretty funty there, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the news because I've been teasing you for how long now? I've been teasing you. We've been shooting the ish. You guys usually know, like, it's been 20 minutes. This is like a regular show here, guys, right? It's like a regular show. We wait 20 minutes of bullshit. The only thing is I wasn't corny like Regis and Kathy Lee. It was like, and Cody, little Cody, right? Anybody that remembers that impression is an OG. So okay, so yeah, I'm not trying to sell you anything either yet, but merch is on the way, a book is on the way, and that's up to you. It's voluntary. It's not like the
Did you
government where
hear
they
that,
say, "Hey,
folks?
take our services
Did you
that
hear
suck
that?
really bad, or go into a jail." All right, so Google News.
I
Let's
do
let's get
love
us
the
up.
way you always, when you want to say stuff like that, you do this thing where you skate over it. I've got to get through that bit quickly. You know, you're writing a fucking book. That's pretty epic, mate. Do you know what I mean? There's not many
Yeah.
people that can sit here and say, "Yes, I'm writing a book." That's
Well,
awesome.
I want to take a second to brag here. Yes.
You need to do that. I'm sorry,
It
but
I actually, true story. I finished a big book the other day, and I'm pretty proud of myself. Yeah, it was 50 pages, and that's a lot of coloring when you think about it. I mean, my forearm was cramped for a while. So my book is all emojis. No, it's this very cool, serious book. And in all seriousness, I don't want to give too much away, but just know very soon that you're going to be able to purchase a book. Me and Todd, we wrote a dope ass book. It's going to be for auditors, for truthers, all this shit. And it's going to be the first in a series of books. We're going to have some merch out there too. And the purpose of this is you purchase the book, right? Then great. Then you send a copy to somebody else for free. You wake somebody else up. That's another tool that we have. And also, you get the merch, you get T-shirts. Other people say, "Oh, hey, I think the same way," and that we start networking, and that's what we got to do. So I appreciate everybody out there. Yeah, we're gonna have some really cool things coming out. We also have other projects that I can't tell you about. We got tons of dope shit because we're not just gonna sit here and talk about things. We're actually gonna do things, and that's why I love people like Food Toy, Mrs. J, Theo, Todd, all you guys. There's a whole bunch of you guys out there. I could spend a 2-hour stream just naming your names. That's why I love and admire you guys, and I'm very lucky to be surrounded by such awesome people because y'all's actually doing shit. All right, so now the news.
flattery will get you everywhere, my darling.
And now for the news. But first, guys, do you have problem with shrinkage? Are you concerned about impotency? Well, guess what? For just $14.99, you can buy Elron's boner pills. That's right, Elron's boner pills. $14.99. It's arsenic. No, just kidding, guys. All right, let's get to the news here. All right.
So sorry, Will, UK Transparency says, Will, are you doing a pop-up version of your book for the police so the police can understand it?
Yeah,
Well,
it's got
you
a
know
pop
what?
up 3D whisk.
We should do that. We should. I mean, the thing is, they would not listen to it. If you guys were tuned in right before this, we were live with Mrs. J over on Mrs. J's channel, and we were talking about the fact that when you bring up the Constitution, cops run red lights. It's all on video. Run red lights, go over medians. They run away from you, right? And so it's very difficult to have a conversation. Everywhere I went in this country, I bring up the Constitution. I would say over 99% of the police, they'll either walk away, they're like, they'll sigh. Like I said, people have driven off. Like it's been crazy, right? It's been pretty crazy. So
like how many videos out there, and this really pisses me off, right? Where police come upon a drunk, another drunk police chief or another police guy, and they turn off their body camera sound, and they basically give the guy a lift home, and he can't walk, he's falling all over the place. Like there's a load of these videos. It really pisses me off. They take the guy home. If that was me or you, Jesus Christ, we'd be beat up, chucked in the car, and the key thrown away. It's one set of rules for them and another for us.
And that's the unfortunate part about it. I know everyone at this point has gotten a chance to see the events that transpired in Arkansas, I believe it was. And, if I would have did that to anybody else, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
you would have got Jamie onto them. That's what I say.
Yeah, well, and that's the reason. And Jamie Diamond, my PayPal is FakeMicRealNews, $FakeMicRealNews. I know $1 million. You might have to go somewhere else for that. You might have to send me a cashier's check or something like that. But we'll figure it out, Jamie. So just have your people call my people, and by my people, it's FakeMicRealNews@gmail.com. All right, so we got a severe thunderstorm watch here in Rhode Island, dude. All right. So let's
Oh,
go.
I'm
We're gonna go
very
through.
jealous because you
I
know
know.
we
I was
talked
telling you, I
about
need
it
a thunderstorm.
earlier. Yeah,
We weren't
it's
supposed to have one.
bypassed me again. The fucking thunderstorm's bypassed again. It's just side angled, swerved around where I live, and the rest of the country can hear, oh yeah, really horrendous thunderstorms. And I would say, no, nothing here. So, Rhode Island, how's it going? I'll shut the fuck up. It's your channel.
Oh no, that's why I brought you guys on. Well, I was just gonna. So this part is gonna be interactive with not only the guests. I want you, the folks, on your phones or your home or your laptop or whatever device y'all checking in on. If you guys are watching me on a sidekick, how the hell are you doing that? Let me know. I want to be interactive, so I'm gonna cover a topic, and I'm just gonna basically cover it. Maybe I'll give 2 cents, maybe I won't, and then I'm gonna open up to the panel in the chat here. And I do have the chat out on Telegram if anybody's interested. So there's that. All right. So the first topic we'll talk about is the first one that has been aggregated for us by Google News, which is Mar-a-Lago, right? And the FBI's raid. We kind of touched upon this a little bit earlier, but it is interesting the fact, the Trump supporters do get this part correct, is, it's not just hunters, but there's a whole bunch of laptops and hard drives that they're in possession of. And why are they not raiding? The FBI's been looking after Prince Andrew for a while. They can extradite Julian Assange, but not Prince Andrew, and they're here on these documents. And I don't know if it's for theater or what, or they really don't like him and he's just an idiot. I don't know what to make of it, but he is at least being portrayed. It's part of the play. I'm no expert here. Do your own thinking and question everything, guys. But it does seem like, at least in the portrayal of things, he's getting a bad shake. But I kind of feel like that's the way it's always been with Trump. He was wanted to be portrayed as like the outsider. I feel like, in my own opinion here, this is my opinion and mine only, and I can't prove this. It's just the way I feel. Is that they were kind of tired of the same old propaganda, and they found a new way to engage people because the media was dying. They would put characters out here like Trump, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, and basically captivate one half of America while enraging the other half of America, which would be very polarizing and would ultimately end up in divide and conquer. So what's y'all's take on that, chat and panel first?
I haven't really been keeping up on it, to be honest with you. And this particular one, funny enough.
I have.
Yeah, I mean, I expect corruption. I expect it. It's no surprise anymore. I would be surprised if there wasn't something wrong, corrupt on both sides, FBI and Trump and everybody. Like you were talking about the liberals and the Democrats, they're both wings of the same freaking bird, right? It's the same animal. I mean, they're not against each other, really. One can't fly without the other.
Difficult for me because obviously I'm English, talking about your Trumpiness.
Hey, don't call it my Trumpiness.
There are lots of things about this, whether or not it was planned by the CIA, whether or not it was planned by the FBI. Trump got raided, and I've thought about this. And if I was president, an English woman in Devon, thinking that if she was the president and I had some stuff I didn't want other people to know about because I left the White House a bit grumpy, I would take the documents. I would. I know for a fact if I was in Trump's position and there was some stuff that I didn't want the rest of the world to know, I'd go, fuck it. Who are they to tell me what I can and cannot do? So I'm the president of the United States. So actually, I own everything. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to have those documents, and I'm going to have them for myself because I'm a bit of a sore loser. And I I'll be honest, I would. I'd have done it. I would have. I'd have taken the documents if I was a bitter loser. Sorry, I would.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the thing is, we have this absurd thing where it's like it's in the movies, but it's also 100% true. Where like if you watch Independence Day or something like that, or any movie, the president's like, oh, what? You have aliens? You have secret technology? Oh, you have stuff from the CIA that I don't know about and I can't see. Well, the fact that we have a FBI, which governs is the police of the whole United States. That's a
Yeah.
standing army. We that's unconstitutional, right? Then the CIA, you can say, oh well, an army is allowed to have spies. Fair enough. A country is allowed to have spies. Okay, great, maybe. But the CIA is not part of the army, right? It's completely separate and it has no oversight from the army. It's
No,
literally its
it's
own rogue branch of the
on its
government
own.
who has
Yeah.
assassinated people, who has
Yeah.
poisoned children's milk. We don't even, their budget is not even classified. These people have been caught making the news and literally going into foreign governments. And so this is all completely corrupt and unconstitutional in the first place. And that's the reason, and I'm glad you brought that up, Mrs. J. It's a great point. Um, the reason why it doesn't make a difference if we literally had like if God or evolution sent down an honorable king or queen or a ruler who was perfect, 100% benevolent, and was so wise they always made the right decisions, and they were the president, great.
He'd be assassinated.
Well, even if they weren't, the CIA is running shit. The Federal Reserve's running shit.
Yeah.
For 8 years, you can have 20 years as a
Yeah.
president. Doesn't make a difference because you have no oversight over the CIA. You have no oversight over the Federal Reserve, right? So that's why I'm saying I'm not trying to
Yeah.
attack anybody's favorite politician because there are some better than others. My personal favorite in Congress right now, and the only one I really like, is Justin Amash. But they're not, he's not going to save us. They're not going to save us because politics is I mean, they're doing whatever the hell they're doing and we can't even get the truth on that. And then Trump, why didn't he, in all the time that he was president, he even released some JFK files, but they were heavily redacted. If Trump was really wanted us to know what was going on with the deep state, if he really wanted to drain the swamp, he would have all files released unredacted, especially ones that are from 50, 75 years ago, which have no bearing whatsoever on it. Most of those people are already dead, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but that's the game they keep you in. As UK Transparency made a great comment about that earlier. He says, "I believe the whole political parties and voting system is just to give the people illusion of choice." That's right.
absolutely.
They
Yeah.
don't want us to. They think if we have a choice that we won't do the right thing and non-violently rebel against
Well,
these folks. All right.
they have us fooled, bamboozled. There's a good word for you. They have us bamboozled, right? Because we believe we need them to change the things when it's them who are the problem, right? We the people, like you said earlier, we are the ones that need to fix the things. We are the power. They are the minority. We are the majority. But they're doing everything they can to keep us divided: race, religion, nationality, class, gender, everything they can to keep us separated, because united we stand, divided we fall. All right.
I guess that's why I've been looking at Scientology, because I see it as an actual achievable goal. And with Scientology being an actual achievable goal, will show people that we are the masses. Look, I'm in England, you're in Ireland, Will's in Maine, freaking, where is it, Rhode Island, over in the States somewhere, right? Which is northern New York, which I know that's kind of where it is. And there we are. There's three people in completely different countries, all singing from the same song sheet. All of us.
Yeah.
But small, manageable chunks means that we can manage it and achieve it. And I really feel that Scientology is a big.
I think you make a good point on that, and one of the things people can get overwhelmed with when they first wake up to this information is, oh my God, what could I do about this? This is a big, overwhelming thing. But I think,
Yeah.
at least in my opinion, and again, keep an open but skeptical mind, I think the best thing to do is start with small, attainable goals and
Yeah.
work from there. You don't have to change the world in one day. And that's important. And I'm kind of scanning the chat here as we talk too. Yeah, exactly, Todd. He would have given Snowden and Julian Assange political asylum. I mean, Julian Assange practically won him that election. And Jamie, that's terrible. Are you all right? That's messed up, man. Jamie's a great
Yeah, I heard
activist
that.
as well out there. Um, so you guys support her. I hope she's okay. That's
Can I
terrible.
address her, Jamie? Like, if you want to do something about it, you have to make a complaint, right? Of course, they're not going to find any wrongdoing, but it's just part of the dance. It's part of the game you have to play, right? And then you need a civil rights lawyer, right? You need somebody to take your case,
And good
right?
luck with that. But there
Right.
are some out
That's
there.
the issue. That's the
There are
problem.
some out there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy, man. It's crazy that cops are doing that to you, and
You have to
they
put in the
just.
complaint.
I mean,
That's the
and the
first.
thing is, like, most people, and I'm not just talking about women too, right? Cops are, but if you don't have to detain somebody, this goes for all people. So I'm not talking about women or any particular gender or anything like that. But like, there's some people that like, if you're not there for a major crime, like if you're not suspected with good evidence of a violent or sexual crime, uh, or something that could hurt somebody, you shouldn't be detained. The cops should be able to just, okay, look, I got the gun. You just chill right here. Can you chill right here for me? If not, the cop, if he's really suspecting you of a crime, then he can get your ID, even though it's not constitutional. But technically, the way things work right now, you get your ID. So let's just say Jamie was to run after they took her ID from her unconstitutionally. Who cares? You know where this woman lives. She's a woman. Most of the people that they interact with, if they're detained, uh, if they're out of the car, they've already been searched, or they know they don't have weapons on them. So I'm like, what are you scared of? Why would you ever detain? I mean, it's not just women and men. I mean, how many times have I seen cops detaining children? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year olds. I've seen cops arrest kids in school.
Yeah,
You know,
slamming them down to the ground.
I mean, this is. I
See
mean,
that
why
video?
would a child should never be in handcuffs ever? A child should. You know who else put children in handcuffs? John Wayne Gacy, right? He wore a funny clown costume too. Similarities? I don't know. I mean, like, you got to be a psychopath or narcissist or some type of. And I'm not a doctor or a psychologist or psychiatrist or nothing. I'm just a dude with a snapback and a whisk. uh, but you can't be right if you're locking up. There's no circumstances that a child, especially a small child, right, should be in handcuffs.
Right.
So I mean, maybe I guess if the kid's like a 16-year-old school shooter, yeah, okay, I get it right there. But if that kid's unarmed, I mean, there's no reason, or and doesn't present any danger to anybody. I mean, like crazy. I it's crazy. And that's the thing. That's another perfect example of. And I'm picking on the right wing extra today at the beginning, so we'll make sure I go through the liberals later. But that's the thing. Police can sit there and watch cops slammed to the ground, head slammed on the desk, detained in the back of a cop car, crying for mommy, abusing autistic children, right? All this stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't get upset, but they get upset when they raid Mar-a-Lago. Oh, they're so bad.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Jamie. Okay, Jamie, and you have this all documented. Okay, we got to get this information out, and we got to sue them for I don't know what to do. I'm not a lawyer either. I'm just a guy with a hat. But if they did this to you, and I'm sorry to laugh because my immediate, I got a lot of blood flowing to my chest right now because I'm enraged. 3.5 weeks of jail? Holy shit, dude! All right, yeah, we got to talk about this. That's crazy. You got to come on in the next day or two or whenever, or even now if you want to show some of that video and talk about it, I can send you the link. That was ruining my good
I
mood
think,
right
I
there.
think, I think it'd be amazing if she could really, just tell us.
If you want me to send you the link, Jamie, if you're available now, let me know and I'll message. Yeah, exactly, Antonio. I'll message you the link, and you can join up. And yeah, I believe Jamie said she had video. And while we bring Jamie up or not, let's talk about the student loan debt, right? And forgiveness. So, first of all, in my opinion, that's unfair because there's a lot of people that didn't go to college. They went and did other things, and they shouldn't have to pay for something that was consensual between these people, too. Secondly, it's just going to cause more inflation and make things worse. And then third, he promised to eliminate all student debt. Now it's up to what, 10,000, 20,000 in some cases. This is not going to do anything but backfire as they continually print more money. I think, in my opinion, if they were truly genuine about uh, canceling debt, what they really should do is cancel all of the illegal Federal Reserve debt and the illegal unconstitutional Federal Reserve banking system. And then I mean, just a quick synopsis. If you guys are not aware, and I talk about this all the time, I'm not going to get in depth in this now, but if you're not aware about the Federal Reserve, the history of the Federal Reserve banking system, you need to, as rest in peace, F in the chat for Jordan Maxwell, F in the chat. Everybody put an F in the chat for Jordan Maxwell. As Jordan Maxwell would say, you people need to wake up and do your homework. You need to learn about the Federal Reserve banking system because this is like literally that combined with the illegal income tax and the illegal IRS passed the same year, they literally, it's the best way to put it. Okay, Jamie, I'll send you the link. Um, you literally in the United States, you work 3 or 4, arguably 6, depending on the stats, months of the year for the government. That money doesn't go to you. You're at least working 3 months a year. Imagine if you had 3 months of your salary back in your pocket. I don't care if you're working at the highest level or the lowest level. Can you imagine if you had that? It's all illegal. It's unconstitutional. It's not appropriated tax as the Constitution calls for. None of this is legal whatsoever. They even didn't pass it legally. So please, if you haven't, check out the Federal Reserve. I'm going to send Jamie the link right now. So she's going to join us in a moment, hopefully. So let me just get this link.
Like I watched some of your videos, and I watched some of the auditor videos of America. All of your videos, but some of these town halls are so extravagant. How
Yeah.
much money went into these buildings? But they can't. They don't have money to feed the poor, or free healthcare. Don't have money for that.
Same thing with the mega churches, same thing with the regular churches, same thing with Scientology. Now there are exceptions, of course, but yeah, that's the thing. They're taking all this money, and that's the crazy thing about it too is it's an old joke. Thank you for the Fs. Rest in peace to Jordan Maxwell. And stay tuned too because we got some exciting stuff coming with Jordan Maxwell's information. He may have passed from this plane, but his legacy will never die, and we have some cool things coming. So stay tuned for my channel for more updates about Jordan Maxwell's legacy continuing. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah, and we have enough IRS agents now, the new 87, 89,000 IRS agents. And I don't believe in public schools. I think public schools should be abolished. You could put, if you wanted to really end school shooting, you could put a cop at every school for all those IRS agents. They still wouldn't. They would let them in and show up a bunch later, and it wouldn't happen. But there's plenty of other better ways. But the point I was going to make earlier is, the only difference between the mafia and the government is the mafia actually turns a profit. They're both extortion rackets. They're both violent, immoral schemes. But at least the mafia, they turn a profit. We're like $30 trillion plus here in debt. Yeah, exactly. Antonio Zacharias, tax on wages is illegal. Axiom results, what are you talking about specifically? Jamie, I sent you the link, so she should be joining up any minute. And yeah, and then we got Zelensky and the war in Ukraine. We're spending them billions more dollars, just billions and billions of dollars. Meanwhile, Flint, Michigan is still fucked up. Meanwhile, Detroit's still fucked up. Meanwhile, the school's still fucked up. I mean, the roads fucked up, and then the roads are fucked up, and they tax you on the roads anyways, and then they're fucked up, and
That's the
then
point
they
of
now we're
government.
putting
That's like
and
basically the point of government is to fix the roads and bring you water and electricity. That's what they're there for.
that's the main point.
That's the main point.
Exactly. That's like the main thing. That and also so there's Futoy brings up a great point. There's two basic things, right? You want to have decent roads. That's why we're paying them all this money. That's also we're supposed to have decent schools, have clean water and electricity. That, and as the Declaration of the Independence of the United States, it says that government was created to secure our rights. So they've neither secured our rights nor provided the basic functions, but yet they can give money to Pakistan for gender studies. They can give billions to Ukraine. They can not even classify or declassify the CIA's budget. They can spend all this money on anything that they want, and they can have these amazing, extravagant buildings with gold on their domes. It's a religious altar to government, to daddy
Yeah.
government. But hey, clean water, you're right. Electricity.
Train the police to know the law. Nah, why? What for? That's a waste of time. You know.
Oh, I don't want to know the law. None of that round here, my love. We
That's
don't have none of that law around here. We just do what we want to do around here.
We are the law. 6 months training. We are the law. Here's my gun. Here's my badge. Give me your neck.
Same here, man.
Axiom Revolt. I love Axiom Revolt. Actually, you make a great point. Anything they want to do, they can say it's for the general welfare. It's constitutional. That's a great point, and that's why I'm not a constitutionalist. I'm not a statist. But I would also argue, and so that's another. Please do.
Sorry, can I interrupt you there? What is a statist? I've not heard that expression.
And we have Jamie, so I'll just briefly explain what a statist is. A statist is I'm a voluntarist. I'm an anarchist, but not in the anarchist like they throw bombs or murder people or anything. I'm an anarchist in the fact that I believe that all human interactions should be consensual. So if you have a shiny red apple and I'm hungry as hell and I have $1, you want my dollar, I want my apple, boom, that's consensual. Hey, Futoy sees a pretty lady out on the streets and he swoons her over. You know what I'm saying? She says, "My, you're pretty," and she says, "Oh, Futoy, stop! I love you." And Futoy says, "May I have a kiss?" And she says, "Of course." Well, that's consensual. Well, when the government does stuff, it's inherently non-consensual. So that the government says, "Hey, if you don't pay these taxes to murder these brown kids in the Middle East, men with guns are going to come to your house and kidnap you and put you in a cage." So it's non-consensual. So I'm not a statist. I don't believe government can fix anything. As a matter of fact, government is the number one malefactor in this world, the number one killer of all things. So if you truly care about human life, so I just believe all human interactions should be voluntary. And we now have joining us on the panel, JAMIESTARRJOHNSON. Jamie, welcome to the stream. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
Hello.
It's great to see you again. And this is
Nice
Futoy.
meeting you.
This is Jam pointing in the wrong direction.
Hello.
But please, Jamie's been an activist for quite a long time, and she's been fighting the system. So tell us about that and yourself, and then let's get into this situation. I'm going to walk over to that corner and grab myself another bottle, but I'm still here listening. But everyone, Jamie, and if someone can put her channel in the chat, everyone go subscribe.
Hey guys. So as he said, I've been an activist and advocate for the past 5 years. I specialize in DCS, law enforcement, family courts, juvenile courts. They're all linked together. Unfortunately, the law enforcement assists DCS in removal of kids all day long. I have not had a good time with lots of departments because of this. One of the main ones has been my hometown. I actually sold my house of 10 years because of the incident that happened. There's two towns that are together and dispatched by the same place. This incident actually, the first department, I've had them actually kick in my door for a welfare check, hold guns to my face, detain me for over 45 minutes, try to put me on a 72-hour hold, only to be unsuccessful in doing so. They have arrested me. They have threatened to kick in my door. They have assisted DCS in the removal of my kids in retaliation. Then they have their sister department. And this was the first time I've ever had to deal with them. I was with my ex-boyfriend, We were shopping at Myers. I've been there for 8.5 years. I've lived in, that same place for 10 years. I'm very well known in there. I'm kind of one of a kind, so you usually know me by the time I leave in. Evidently, something didn't get rung up. I'd spent over $200 in there. We had an incident with the loss prevention gentleman. That loss prevention gentleman showed me somebody else's ID. I was not going to stop. I had intentions to go to the Meyer gas station, and before I got there, I was stopped by this department, Avon Police Department in Indiana. I was held at taser point. Wasn't the gun, but immediately held at by a taser, told to walk backwards. I was shocked. I'd spent over $200 on my groceries. I wasn't the one that rung him up. I backed. And I didn't even get a chance to tell him my side of the story before he grabbed me, started yanking my arms. I have a disability. I have had major back surgery. I have a neck injury and a blood disorder that can cause internal bleeding. So, he's throwing me around, trying to rip my arms up from behind me and cuff me. And I'm just telling him, I'm disabled. I can't do that. You're hurting me. He then proceeded to slam me up against my vehicle, the back of it, where he then almost broke my 2 fingers. They were black and blue. I kept telling him, you're going to break my fingers. And he said, good, maybe you'll stop resisting. Oh, yeah, that's why they hid the cams. Not only that, the gentleman tells me, this is word for word, he says, this is the last time I'm going to hurt you. Now, at this point, I'm already in PTSD mode. I have had major abuse for years. I have, the gentleman I was with was very abusive. So I'm freaking out. I mean, you hear somebody's this is the last time I'm going to, hurt you. I really took him for that. He threw me on top of his police car, where he continued to yank my arms, almost break my fingers. Then he threw me to the ground, and a couple other officers come up, pounced on me, handcuffed me. I have a hard time sitting, and I have hip problems. So they sit me down. This whole time, I am kind of belligerent at this point. But I keep telling them, this loss prevention guy showed me a fake ID. Aren't you going to go over there and find out? If there's something I didn't pay for, I'd be more than happy to pay for it. It was sodas. That's it. Sodas on the bottom of the thing that just didn't get rung up. So the total amount, it was under $50. Of course, they lied in court and added some extra drinks to it, which is to show that's the fact. When I stood up, I asked him, I say, look, my back is really hurting. At this point, again, I've been thrown around. I have major back, surgeries and damage. And stand up, and 2 officers come over while I am handcuffed and leg sweep me. And I slam to the ground, and I am 5'4", 160 pounds. I do have a mouth on me because, like you said, I know. Look, I am firm, and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've learned from some of the best. I've known, Will for quite some time. He can speak. I'm pretty knowledgeable in things, rights. And again, somebody said in here, they don't like people that know what they're talking about. They don't. They belittled me. They made fun of me. They refused to listen to me. And in the end, I was arrested. My car towed. In the end, I did 3.5 weeks in jail. I had to take a plea for something else that the police department had gotten me on. I'm telling you, I went through years of harassment from this police department. And they're dispatched by the same center. Now, this center, I have found, has records of me. So when any officer or any department comes to that dispatch, there's notes. And in those notes, I have found where they say I'm crazy, I'm violent. I have no charges of violence at all on me. No, nothing like no assaulted an officer.
Is there any body cam footage?
So here's the thing. There is footage. The Avon Police Department in Indiana has the top-notch, #1, state-of-the-art cameras. They are 360 degrees and record the entire shift. There is no mistaken. They hid all of the camera footage from the main person. And that is why I got dismissed, because there's not one footage that was put into the court system that had
Yeah.
me physically on it until there was a Hendricks County sheriff. And I have a blessing and a friend who's a reporter who has followed me for 5 years, told my story. She helped me find that footage. We not only obtained it once, we obtained it 3 times from the police department, the sheriff's department.
Mm.
And the entire time I told my public defender, there is footage, I need you to do. My reporter had contacted the prosecutor's office, had contacted my attorneys, had contacted the police department. Every one of them we have documentation that they were told this footage existed. Now, I'm not saying it saved me. In the end, the existence of it saved me, because I went to court 2 weeks before my trial, and I had it where the prosecutor was asked many times, even by my attorney, who got up in court and said, Your Honor, I didn't believe her. I didn't believe that it existed until I saw it. And it was the only footage that had physically me. I still cannot obtain the footage from them yet. My little reporter gal, Shara Michelle, she's still trying to get it. It exists. There's no way it doesn't, because that means that this entire shift of that officers that wouldn't exist. So if one case is found that day to have footage, there's no doubt. There's no way it's automatically uploaded. So that's the first incident. And then last night, I have PTSD so bad from them. Literally, the sound of sirens, the sight of an officer shakes me. To interact with them is even worse. I was at home last night, and I've moved. Now, again, I've sold my house way under so I could get away from this department, get away from the ex, and start over clean. Well, this is a totally different county. It's Putnam County in Indiana. And you think, okay, maybe you'll get a better shot. No. Last night, my boyfriend somehow accidentally called 911. Well, I'm trying to put the kids to bed. My kids don't behave all the time, and I kind of have to get firm with them at night. They heard that in the background. And when they heard that, they sent an officer. When the officers got there, they first say they don't know who called, and they just heard some kind of commotion in the background. I thought my daughter had called. I have a 12-year-old daughter. And they give me a number, and I go in. I don't know my daughter's number, so I run in, and I have a 10 and a 12-year-old who now woke up to these flashing lights beaming in their window, and these police officers outside. Well, it was my mom, my pops, me, and my boyfriend. And they immediately, when I come back out and told them it wasn't her, asked for his ID. Just my boyfriend. And I said, why? And he's like, because we got this call. And I said, what crime is he suspected of that you require ID? And immediately I was mistreated, yelled at. I went to face him to kind of get everybody else out of the way, to do what I do. And I got, toe to toe, not in his face, facing him. And I asked him again, what crime are we suspected of to require ID? Immediately, he goes to his buddy who's down the ramp from my parents' house. They have a ramp for handicapped. Tells him to detain me. Using those exact words, and I said, you are detaining me. And so I did walk down there. I did gladly give my arms, because last time I got the shit beat out of me, and I wasn't about to have that happen again. Put my hands behind my back, where he then yanks my arms around, continuously pulls them. My mom even said something to him about, she's handicapped. I am. I've been on disability for 12 years. I can't move that way. My body doesn't move up. My arms don't move that way. So I'm begging him, and I keep asking him, I want your name and badge number, name and badge number, name and badge. He refused over and over. Then I say, do you have cams on? And I did see one, so I am going to get that footage. You better believe it. But we have surveillance all around the house. And I had an audio recorder in my breast. I carry it. I made sure to go in and get it before this all happened. So it's all it's audio. So the officer even asks, "Is my pops?" Because my pops had to come over and beg this officer to let go of me. I was not running. I was not violent. I gladly, even though I told him they were really screwing up, I did cooperate. I did not want to get thrown around. So he won't let go of me. And I'm freaking out. This is PTSD full effect. I mean, the fact that he had a hold of my arm, handcuffed, I was loud. I didn't do any, I wasn't being belligerent, but I was loud. And they finally, at this point, at one point, he asked me to go to his car. He's like, sit down. And I'm like, dude, I can't sit down. I'm disabled. I'm not sitting on the cement. I'm not running. I'm not doing anything. And then they try to take me out to the car. Now, our long driveway is, pretty long and dark. No way.
Yeah.
I was like, why? No. So my pops came out, and God love him, told me to shut up. I am who I am. I don't feel like I need to shut up.
No, I know. I get that. I'm the same. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I put my head into his chest, and he begged to let go of me. He said, I will take her. I will take responsibility. And he continuously, was grabbing my arm and not letting go. Then they stayed for an extremely long time, and I didn't want to go in the house. I didn't feel safe or comfortable going in because, I've had officers kick in my doors and hold guns to my face for welfare. I wasn't comfortable. They refused to turn the lights off. There was just so much that they did after the fact. They should have just left, and they didn't. So when I asked him his name and badge number, it was a sergeant. He still refused and gave my pops a card. And I went up to him later on and I said, you refused to give me your name and badge number. I'm the one you detained. Remember that. You illegally detained. There was no crime. I mean, it was a hang-up call from 911. I did a lot of research since then, trying to find the procedures for that. Never in my life did I never saw anything about it's time to detain me. That's not a crime to accidentally call 911. And the fact, my two kids were inside. They never asked how my kids were. Never asked for anybody else's ID except for my boyfriend's. He did give it to him in the end, and I never gave it to he asked my pops what was my name, and he said Jamie Johnson. They never ran us, never. But my kids, I went and got my kids because they had them up and brought them out, and I said, don't you think maybe you might want to ask my kids if they're okay here and safe? Why don't you ask them? I had to force them to ask my children if they were safe. But they didn't have any problem handcuffing and detaining me for nothing. They uncuffed me finally, and like I said, a long time later, went about their business. I have every intention of pulling our surveillance.
So is each of your states, you can be detained for various different lengths of time in various states, or is it the same? Like 12 hours, 24 hours, you could be detained in your state.
According to what I have, and maybe we'll make sure I'm correct.
Yeah.
If you're suspected of a crime, you have to show ID. If you are not, you don't have to. So they were basically detaining me for why they were their one ideas. There shouldn't be. In our state, I read that it is a reasonable amount of time to investigate. Well, they'd already talked to everybody. My mom and pops were there. Nothing was going on. It wasn't that my kids were being harmed. I had a DCS case because of retaliation. Will's very familiar with this. I won, and I haven't announced that August 8th, I had my case closed after 2 years of hell to get me to shut up. Thank you. It took a lot to get my kids back. And the last time I had to take them, the judge said, absolutely not. Those children are not abused, not neglected. But they got them for 2 years, so it's been a long, hard road. I no longer am allowed to go and speak. I used to do shows like Will. That's how I met him. I had my own shows. Coffee and Corruption was the new one I was getting ready to put out. And I exposed DCS the court system, and soon, came along law enforcement. I have so much on so many, and they wanted me to shut up. And that's how I feel with everything. It's like if you know what you're talking about, you're going to get hit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had my channel taken, so I know, but that's not me being held captive for a number of hours away from my children or my son, who's actually now an adult. But the idea of that is just even, just wouldn't even enter my world.
The power they have, and especially DCS, they use law enforcement to take my children. These law enforcement I have on footage going around my house. DCS had already left. They went around my house, peeking in my windows, banging on my door, till I came to the door. Then they called DCS back out, who then, wanted to ask all these questions. And, I just basically said, get a motion to compel, because that is what they are supposed to do.
Yeah.
3 hours later, my children were detained.
I'm so sorry.
From my home. And everything was a lie. Everything. I had to go through so much. And there's nothing you can do. I am very smart, knowledgeable, and powerful in what, in being able to stop families and save children all over the nation.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop from taking mine. And since that day, I had problems. There's one I call Officer Gun Snatcher. I was in my own home. They were threatening to molest my children online, a group of haters. While I did a live, I called the police department. This was all done live on my YouTube channel. The officers came in, harassed me, but when they first came in, I had my gun. Now, these people just put my address out, gave instructions of when my children would be in the school bus and have pictures and said horrific things. And this officer, when I went to go put my computer down, grabbed my gun from my waistband and snatched it and then ran it and went off on me. They did give my gun back, but they tried to say that, once I refused them to go into my house, they started to walk in. And, of course, I put my arm up and I said, I didn't give you permission to walk into my house. You do not have permission to enter my home. Well, then it was, your house smells like fresh marijuana. And I just started laughing. I was like, really? We're going to go there?
Yeah.
They did not, but they did run my gun. They did belittle me, make fun of me, and did nothing to protect my children. Nothing.
Your children would have seen that.
Well, I'm just glad that, and you said again, this is Avon, Avon, Indiana?
Yep, Avon, Indiana.
And were you dealing with the sheriffs or the local PD there?
The local PD.
So Avon, Indiana. So if you guys feel inclined to go over there and give them a 5-star rating, that's up to you. But you don't have to do that. But if you do make any comments, make sure that they are polite. We could give them some reviews on Google. I'll pull that up in a sec. I know Jamie didn't ask for this or know I was even going to say this, but I'll try to make this as quick as possible. Fighting the system is not an easy thing to do. Is there any way we could get you, because especially with the public defender, so is there any way we could, do you have a Cash App or a PayPal or something like Venmo, so we can hopefully maybe raise some money for you so you can get an attorney here that might know his shit, or Joel Vedder's saying bring it to a lawyer pro bono. It's tough to do, but it would be better if you had a few bucks in her pocket. So how can people donate to you to help you with this cause? I
do have Cash App, JAMIESTARRJOHNSON.
Okay, I'm going to put that in the thing here. $.
For a penny. And I know that I have a slam dunk case because I have had the assistance of a reporter. She's a journalist by the name of Shara Michelle. I owe her a lot because she was one of the only ones that believed in me. Like I said, my own attorney didn't even believe in me. And he said it right in court. This is all documented. I have all of it.
What?
I have the doctor's notes. I have everything. If it wasn't for her, I give her so much praise and thank you to her. Whoa. But I'm looking for an attorney because it's just not right.
It's absurd.
Do what?
It's just absurd. So it's Jamie Starr Johnson with 2 R's, correct?
Correct. 2 R's for a little extra.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it up on screen. It's in the chat. Everyone, go over there. If you have any extra money, if you're dead broke, this is not for you. But even if you have an extra $1, $5, let's send Jamie a donation on Cash App and help her out. It's on screen. Actually, let me also put it in the I'll put it in the description too to this video so you guys can do it. But it's on screen. It's Jamie. All you have to do is go to Cash App, $ Jamie Star Johnson. There's two R's, and just send over. And a few bucks that can't hurt. So if you have, so right now she has a public defender, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but she has a public defender. So it would be more ideal if we could get her a lawyer instead, because unfortunately public defenders aren't the best. And I just want to say thank you.
For that, the criminal charges were all dismissed. So what it is trying to get them to pay for what they did. I mean, you have to understand, I spent 3.5 weeks in jail, 3.5 weeks away from my children, and I'm disabled, so was in pain with a broken foot. Could not wear my cast because I couldn't go to, it was the boot, so I couldn't go to general population. And in Hendricks County Jail, their medical is isolation, solitaire, nothing. And they put me there for 4 days, no shower, no nothing the first time. And then when it started acting up at the end of the 3.5 weeks, I spent another 4 days there before I got out. And I begged them to take the boot. I was like, take the boot. I don't care. I want to go back up. It drives you insane. I did win, and the charges are all dismissed. I was charged with assault on an officer, and there's no documentation that he had any kind of injuries, resisting, theft, and disorderly conduct. And because of the existence, so don't ever give up either. If you know there's another department on there, get it yourself. Don't trust the courts to do it, because if you know it's there, and the fact it had nothing to do with what was on it. I have a potty mouth, sure do. So that probably wouldn't have been the greatest on any of my videos, but they still are withholding that video that shows the officer literally assault me, injure me, and do the leg sweep. And I would like to obtain it. That's one thing I want to get help with, is I know it exists, and I know that it's out there, and there has to be some way to get it to prove that they did.
It doesn't really matter about your potty mouth because you guys have the First Amendment, right?
Yeah, they used, I guess I said, and by this time in the car, I don't remember this, and I don't mean this, but I told them I hope they died in the line of duty. Probably a little harsh.
That's freedom of speech. It's constitutionally protected. It's constitutionally protected, and so is what is it? The right to petition your government. So in other words, you have the right to air your grievances to your government. So if anybody wants to do that, I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm saying you could do that if you felt the need to. It's your First Amendment right.
Well, and I think one thing about me is that, I am a domestic violence survivor. My ex tried to kill me, and I have a lot of issues with officers, just like yesterday, where they do not have any kind of training for that, and really do hurt the victim more. How do they know I wasn't in a situation where I had taken the phone and called 911 and hung up? They didn't even ask. They immediately jumped to this, give me your ID, and detainment, and treating me like crap. And I think that's something that I want, this to change about these departments. When I was almost killed by my ex, the officer, as my car being bashed in, a baseball bat almost to my head, called me a dumbass and chest bumped me. Yeah. Because I said, what is he being arrested for? Oh, well, nothing, because we didn't see it. I'm like, you didn't see it? Of course you didn't see it. He didn't do it in front, he did it in public and in front of a camera. And I looked at there and I said, right there's your, that's your proof. Do I have to do your fucking job too? And I went in and he's right now being prosecuted for 4 felonies against me. So, it's a big problem with officers, the way that they treat. And I'm not talking about just women. Men are victims too. Any domestic violence. And like you said, these kids that are getting handcuffed, and my children had to suffer through that. They have PTSD from the removal from me and what they went through for 2.5 years of just yanking them and putting them in different schools and different environments. And they had to stay up until late last night with lights and sirens in their, their windows, and scared that they were going to take their mom away for nothing.
Right.
So
Have you seen the amount of videos where Will has gone up to police and asked them to state one of the amendments, right? And they don't know it. They don't know it. They swore an oath to it, but they don't know it.
and that's one thing I stood like with the department, with DCS, CPS, ABC, XYZ, the alphabet agents. That's what I call them. I did get compelled about 4 months prior to the removal, where I went into court and was literally told by Judge Love, who was then my DCS worker, case person, and I did a case on her involving the director of DCS and corruption before I ever entered that courtroom myself, where they were trying to compel me to show them where my guns were and let them in my house. I was compelled, and every time I did a beautiful, motion to dismiss, 8 pages long. I know that it was correct. I had legal advice.
Nice.
And every time I said to this judge, I stand on my constitutional rights, I was told, this isn't about your rights. This is about cooperating with DCS.
It's crazy.
Wow. So, yes, I love Will. I love Ordinary America. Those guys, I watch them as much as I can. That's honestly, you learn a lot from that. And you see how ignorant law enforcement really is.
Yeah, and not just law enforcement, but the whole legal system. Like public defenders are a joke. It's there's no point. Every single time I've heard somebody say they have a public defender, the public defender has said take a plea deal. Whether you're innocent or guilty doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. They don't care about that.
I did have to take a plea to get out of jail on that 3.5 weeks from an invasion of privacy.
They know it.
An email went out to my daughter that DCS put a restraining order on my adult daughter because she was placement. And I went to jail for 3.5 weeks and had to plea out because I could not take it any longer. And that, like I said,
that's the thing is you're innocent until proven guilty, yet they're going to hold you in jail. And we're not talking about she wasn't you're being kidnapped. Now I could see the point if she was accused of murder and they had sufficient evidence or something like that.
Right.
Then sure, whatever, let's hold her for a couple weeks. But essentially no crime, literally no crime. You're abusing and harassing a disabled woman, right, that has PTSD. I'm glad there's nothing else in Avon to be doing. I'm glad they've solved all the crime there. I'm glad the crime rate in Avon is 0. I'm glad they've cleaned up all the cold cases, and now they have enough free time to go and harass our friend here, $JAMIESTARRJOHNSON. And that's the thing, right? So you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But no, that's part of it. Puchoy said it exactly right. These Todd knows this too. Every day they get somebody to plea out every day, because what are you going to do? I mean, how long can you stay in a cage? Let's say this happened to me multiple times. I'm completely innocent. We'll just hold you here for no crime whatsoever. And guess what? You know what? You either take this plea deal or you stay in jail against your rights. And then what happens? Then you're going to lose you miss a job, right? Then you get fired from your job. Then you can't pay your house payment, your car payment, whatever. I mean, this is literally incredible. And then the police, and I'm glad Jamie brought up the DCF, DCSF, DCYF, CPS angle to all this is, and don't forget, folks out there, when kids, thousands of children every day are separated from their families, a lot of times when there hasn't even been a crime committed, not even a crime, cops will come to your house, sometimes without social workers, and they will steal your children. Remember, cops are the people that politicians are just idiots with bad ideas, but police are the violent gang that enforces, the ones that take away your kids.
I think it's even more sinister than that. When I think about it, right, I think whether you're innocent or guilty, if they make an arrest and bring you through the court system, all those people get paid. The judge get paid, the public attorney get paid, the cop gets paid. All that system gets paid for, whether you're innocent or guilty. So why should they train the cops in the law? Because they'll make less money.
Right.
There'll be less arrests.
Let me tell you something. I was also on pretrial services, which is basically reporting to a probation officer for the entire time. on this case that was dismissed. And if anything would have happened, I could have gotten in trouble and gone right back to jail. And I had never had a day in court. And had to do it up for 18 months. Now, see, whenever all this went down and the evidence, we kept postponing it. This is one of the things. They also hid a statement from a witness that popped out of nowhere that saw me doing all this. Yeah, she saw me yelling and screaming at these officers. They had assaulted me. Well, they kept that for 18 months. My trial was 18 months in, and it was postponed a couple times. Well, because of the fact that we postponed it to request evidence, it is a year rule. So that then was calculated to the prosecutors and the state. So that is not a speedy trial. That was another issue that they had, is they had to let go because the evidence was brought in by the defendant, showing that there was evidence that was a direct defiance of the judge order, stating that all evidence, and the Brady law states it anyway. The Brady law states that all evidence that proves you innocent is to be delivered without asking to the defendant. And so the fact that we had asked for it many times made it even worse. But they have to give you a speedy trial. And so 18 months into it, I spent 18 months basically on probation. 18 months for a crime I never.
Yeah, totally innocent.
And yeah, that's as I talked about earlier with Food Toy before Jamie was joining us here. Is the government is an extortion racket, and the only difference between the government and the mafia is the mafia turns a profit. And these people are so incompetent that then they run out of the tax money, which is illegal in the first place, and now they have to harass and collect and get people like Jamie, who's never hurt anybody whatsoever. She's never violated the non-aggression principle, but yet we need to get her in the system. We need to put her in a cage for 3.5 weeks and get some money off of her. And hang tight, guys, to the comments. I see a lot of chatter going on over there. I can't keep up with all of it. Stay tuned. In a few minutes, we'll get to your comments for Mrs. By the way, shout out to Mrs. J had to run, but everyone go check out Mrs. J. We'll get to your comments with me, Food Toy, and Jamie. And anything random as well too. And again, please donate. It's on the screen. It's in the description. It should still be in the chat. I have to scroll back, but it's in the description. It's $JAMIESTARRJOHNSON on Cash App. Let's help get her a lawyer so this doesn't happen again, and these people will back off. And that's 2 R's. JAMIESTARRJOHNSON, $JAMIESTARRJOHNSON on Cash App, and go check out the channel and Food Toys channel as well too.
Good night, Miss J. If you're still up, good night.
Hi.
All right, so let's get to some of these comments here. We can start getting your comments in here for everybody. Look into this, Fake Micro News, Mobile Police Department. Okay, if you want to send me an email on a link or something that you have right now, anybody that wants to send me some information and is interested in me putting it up on screen, send me a link right now. It's FakeMicRealNews@gmail.com. It is FakeMicRealNews@gmail.com. You can send me something. And we'll cover it. We'll see what's up. I had a ton of other things that I wanted to get into, but I wanna focus kind of on Jamie in this story now. And we'll save. I have my FOIAs up, but we'll save that for a stream in the next day or so, and I'll go over those FOIAs. I haven't even read the email, so God only knows what's in these FOIA emails now. But also, I got a ton of news, like so much news and memes. So we'll get to that in a stream or two. And I also wanted to say thank you very much to Brandon Mitchell for donating to me. I appreciate it. $ Fake Micro News. I appreciate the donations over there. More importantly, I appreciate you guys sharing the videos. That's the way you guys help us out the best. So thank you very much. Yeah, Brandon asks, how long have you been dealing with this, Jamie? Because you've been an activist for a while. You've been dealing with this for quite a while. And when did it start? What do you think was the thing that made them start going after you? Because we've been talking about this on V Show and other programs for years.
Yeah, and I was a host on the network, Family Case Files. I also did a cooking show, cannabis cooking. It started pretty immediately. When I stepped out, the reason I did what I did is I started a nonprofit here in Indiana, and I only planned on helping here. I didn't realize how big of a problem it was. I knew I had been involved 23 years ago, knew that it was a sick, system, but hadn't had any issues with it for 20 some years, 2 kids later. And then when something happened where they came after me and literally broke my rights for my two youngest, um, this would have been 2017. In October, they came after me. I fought them off, kept them at bay. And by November, I started a nonprofit. The nonprofit within 6 months really took off because in one town alone by the name of Anderson, Indiana, there was 6 deaths of children under DCS care. I investigated and reported. I was on every news station. The director knew my name, the governor knew my name, and then it just proceeded to where everybody across the nation needed help. I have been arrested in New Jersey for helping people out there. I had problems in Florida with officers by trying to just protect somebody at a hotel, a mother and a son who had overdosed, and the officers way overstepped their bounds. And I can remember standing out in the Florida, the courtyard, and this officer just taunting me and screaming at me and told me, if one person looks your way, I'm going to take you to jail. And I was like, don't look at me, please don't look at me. But I was like, really? And I did this all live. It really started, so 2017, 2018, I had obtained a whole hate group who still talk about me online, who have done shows on me constantly. And it's sad because these are people of high positions, lawyers, politicians, medical staff, courtroom staff, COs, police officers. I have had to fight some of the most influential and powerful people ever. And I am strong. Will knows me. I did not back down for a long time. I have not done any shows for over 2 years to save my family. It's been a long time.
And and I'm glad that all these powerful people are getting together to tackle the world's biggest problem, which is Jamie Starr Johnson. It's not the environment, it's not human trafficking, it's not global war, famine. We have live with us here, guys, Jamie Starr Johnson, the world's #1 problem. Not North Korea, not Al Qaeda. No, Jamie Starr Johnson, enemy #1. So, geez, and crackers. Yeah, share this video. Get this video out to everybody that you know, because if we don't hang together, we most assuredly will hang separately. You've got a bunch of comments in here, so let me go through some of them. All right, so feel free to send me a link, FakeMicRealNews@gmail.com. Yes, shout out to Thomas Uoff, right? Thomas Mitchell, and Brandon Mitchell. I love Brandon too. He sends me $5 here and there, and it really helps because I can get a little extra coffee if I'm on the go. You know what I'm saying? Get a snack. Very much appreciated. Uoff asked, how can we separate activist and auditor? I don't know that we even should. I think we should. Jamie, and the thing is, when we label things, we put a label on it, because Jamie could be termed an auditor, but she's not an auditor. She's been an activist in many fields. And I would tell auditors the same thing I would tell activists: jump into both fields. As long as you're doing something nonviolent, there's a litany of ways to get involved.
Can I get in on that? Well, they're not different. They're not separate issues. Okay, so auditing is a part of activism. All right.
Absolutely. And I do advocacy work too, which means I help the family specifically, and it all goes hand in hand. I do both. Learning about being an activist has helped me be a better advocate. I've learned a lot from these auditors. I've been watching since Will was first starting out and didn't even do this. So I've been on board watching him and Auditing America since as long as I can remember. And they have really taught me a lot, as well as like the Pop Brothers. They have Shut the Fuck Up Friday. Love them. And so I think activists, advocates, and auditors are exactly very much alike.
Can I just go on that? Like, for example, look at 2 years ago or 3 years ago, somebody went into a post office with a camera. Well, cops called, in cuffs, in the back of the car. No, you're not allowed to do this. When you look at it today, so not only have they taught us, they've taught the police and the authorities and postal workers that we have rights. And we're going to stand up for those rights. And that's how you know, that's actually how you know a corrupt police or a corrupt police department is when they see people who stand up for their rights as the enemy.
Yep. Yeah, it's
I,
sad
I
that. Sorry.
I have a detective in Anderson. I have two detectives, and one hates me because I proved him wrong. But there's a great detective, Detective Mitchell, who respects me, who appreciates me, and works with me. We've done two cases together: a death of a little girl, and missing kids, and it's great that he likes to learn from me, and I learn from him. So that's where he's a good officer. He's a good
Right.
detective. There
Yeah.
are good detectives.
There
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 is.
are.
There is. There
They're
is.
they're few and far between. I mean, we actually had a video recently in Missouri where we they had at the police department, they had the first time ever. You always look at the police mission statement. It was the first time it had the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in it. I said, "Wow, that's pretty cool." And he didn't
I
know
saw.
the third, and he didn't know the Third Amendment at first, but then he came out, and I think he Googled it, and they said it, and that really shows the humility. Now, these people are few and far between, unfortunately, and they don't often get to the highest positions of power. But there are some good ones out there that he realized, wow, these are some kids, but geez, I really don't know the Third Amendment, and I should know that because we were polite, we weren't being rude or anything like that, and he was humble enough to know. So there are the good ones out there, and we gotta support those ones too.
I
Okay,
love
so Jamie's
love that.
current channel. Jamie, can you private message me here on the thing your channel, and I can put it up in the description and in the chat for people.
I'm inactive for a while. I do plan on starting that show as soon as I can. Now that my case has just closed, like I said, I didn't even
Now
announce
that
it.
you're out of kidnapped for nearly a month.
My kids are no longer kidnapped. I have the right to my children again. Do you know how horrible it is to have to ask to do something with your children, to take them somewhere,
You can
to
imagine.
school, and have a letter to prove that they're your children now, and DCS is no longer involved? It sucks. But I've
Yeah.
done it. I won. I beat them, even though I had to bend over backwards, and that is one thing I hated doing. I did not like bending over and taking it, but I did because my children meant everything to me, and sometimes it takes that. I did learn a lot in that system, and I came across some really amazing people that work for them, mostly my visit supervisors. One guy, Big Tony, was with me from day one, and he still, to this day, believes in me, encouraged me, and stood behind me. And all three of the people from that company, Lifeline, were amazing. All my visit supervisors, they really, really cared about me and my kids. So one thing I did learn, and I tried to, since I was stuck there, I was going to take everything I could from it. And I did. And I learned a lot of things that I clumped together, like, all of them are bad. There aren't. There are some people in that system. However, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry that is making money off the heads of our children. We are the number one state for adoption and forever homes, Indiana. Indiana. And they make 5,000, 7,000, or 10,000 over their quota. Everybody says there's not there. Well, we found it. There is a separate bill that states that. And it is most definitely, I have not been able to find out how long, what the number is for the quota. So depending upon how many over that, depending upon what your child is, and I have special needs children, my son would go for $10,000 to the state. And every dollar that's paid in child support through the state steals $3 to $6 in every single state from our Social Security fund. It is just like a for-profit business. They need kids as product to keep the lights on, to pay them more. Indiana was given $300 million for the last 3 years extra each year in their budget. And the first year, 52 million of it, not one penny went to services. The drug problem in this nation is huge. And the treatment, they spend 3 times as much on drug testing, which our state got busted. I had it 2 years prior, didn't get to put it out because they came at me. But 2 years prior, they were busted just this last year for falsifying reports for DCS and taking kids. The new company, let me tell you something. I haven't exposed this either. I am who I am. I was sick and tired of them saying that my tests were coming back wrong. And when it was wrong, I went and I made sure that they didn't test my saliva for 3 months, and they still come out positive. Water. I used water. I switched the test. and I have it all documented where they tested bottled water and positive for drugs to keep me in the system, making money off of the services that I had to go through. Every time I went to an IOP was $138. I went 3 times a week. They put me in inpatient twice. That's a lot of money that this system is making, and it got nothing was different. When I started testing my again, then it was negative. It was negative the whole time, but they need that. So I don't believe in their drug testing. I discovered that they don't follow their own guidelines. There is certain procedures that they are to follow, and I started trying to hound it's called Coordinate. They do all of the state's probation, and anything with the court systems and DCS is tested by this new company, Coordinate. They have a $12 million lawsuit that they paid out for misconduct. Now, why would the state drop Redwood, who was misconduct, was discovered and put all over the mainstream media, to go with Coordinate, who still has problems with the same problem? Because they need them to. They need them to not follow the rules because they need them to keep testing. And I was like, well, if you think I have a drug problem, why you keep testing me? Why not give me services that really help? I don't need services for X, Y, and Z. I need it for A, B, and C because of the trauma, the abuse that I've went through. Look, I'm not saying my life's perfect and I, couldn't use some help. I could. I was a domestic violence victim, and I needed help. I had a hard time getting away from that. Never affected my children in the sense that they were harmed or anything, and I've always been a mom that takes care of them. But I didn't mind getting help for that, but they didn't give it to me. Instead, they shoved me in all these other classes. They taught me how to take care of babies, and I didn't have any babies. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry that is tearing apart our families nationwide. Wonder what's wrong with our families? That's part of it.
If there's evil, that is the definition of evil. Falsifying documents that take somebody's children away, and anything can happen to them.
I have him lying on the stand, putting me in a supposedly a visit. I was gagged. Now, guys, this is the first time I've talked about it. I had an illegal, unconstitutional gag order placed on me and would go to jail if I talked anything about my case the entire time it went on. So August 1st was the first time I could ever talk about it. This is the first time I've publicly spoke on my case. I have it to where we caught them in the courtroom. They put a fake paraphernalia in my kid's bag, and same police department, okay? When I asked for that evidence, do you know what I was told? It was thrown away in the dumpster in the back of the police department. But it was used against me in court. I had no way to prove. It was a bark. It was a piece of bark.
Please, guys, share this video out. We need everybody to get this information. There's going to be other people coming forward based on what you've done today,
I hope so.
I congratulate you on your bravery. I really do. I admire your bravery.
I'm still scared. I am.
Yeah, but thank you for your fight,
But I am not going to stand by and be quiet. No. I did to save my children's life. They were shipped to 3 different family members, one of them being where I told them the problems were going to happen. They did. My children have suffered. My children have PTSD. I have, it's a long, hard road to get us back to where we belong.
It makes me mad. It makes me real mad,
It's hard.
It's disgusting what these people do.
My kids, there was a time that they didn't probably even think that I wanted them. I'm busting my ass and they're keeping me from them. I went from a full-time mom of 10 years, completely full-time mom. I had full custody to 3 hours supervised a week forever, for like a year plus.
Can you imagine how many people in this country right now, and it's not just Jamie, this is very unfortunate. And the reason why it's very important to share this video and help get Jamie a lawyer so we can start fighting this back is because people every day, this happens to them. I'm sorry, the last point that you were just saying right now, Jamie, I'm sorry, a noise in the background got me distracted. I had a point that I was going to say and I got distracted. What was the last thing you were saying?
Oh gosh, I don't know now. No, there's so much that went on.
It's an industry. It's an industry what they're doing with people's kids.
And here's the thing, you up, and they want you not to talk, and it's scary. It is very scary. I had one thing that said about Indiana kidnapping my children, and that was used against me in court. My shows were used against me in court. Look, everybody, if we don't stand united and we don't all speak up, it's like a bully. A bully doesn't bully if there's, a couple people. They bully one person. But when a second person stands up and says, hey, I'm here, it changes this. If this nation does not unite, and that is one of my key points when I did what I did with my shows, was unity. It won't, our children will still suffer. It'll get worse. Your rights as a parent, I had no rights. None.
Yeah.
And I did nothing wrong. And the worst part is my children did nothing wrong. They lived with me for all those years. And then they were shipped. They've been at one school. They are special needs. So for them to be taken, I fought hard to keep them in the school. I won. And then they had an ex parte order, which if anybody doesn't know what ex parte orders are, it means you ain't a party to your own case. They have a hearing, you aren't there, and they make decisions. That's a restraining order from DCS. They did an ex parte order on that. They changed my kids' school 3 times. Now we went back to the same school, and I had to move. I had to move because I could no longer live there and feel safe.
Yeah, no, you're right. We need to stand up. Like Will said it earlier, and I said to him, it's deep. It's really deep what he said. He said that we have to do it ourselves. We can't rely on other people to do stuff. So we all need to stand up. We can't rely on Will to do everything and save the world for us. He's doing everything he can. You're doing everything you can. You've both done more than most people will ever do in their entire lives. I'm sure we're all like really thankful, but we got to stand up and not let these people fight our battles on their own.
Right.
We got to support them. Do whatever you can. It's like taking this video and putting it on Facebook, just so people on your Facebook can see it, and maybe they can share it. Ask them to share it. Do whatever you can. Get involved. Contact Will. He's willing to work with anybody.
I always say that we the people doesn't exist. We live in a me world, not a we world, and we really need to go we all the way home. It's time. It is. It's time for us to stand up and bring we the people back.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
And Antonio Zacharias with yet another great comment. DCF needs to be disbanded. Yeah, people talk about abolishing the police. We need to abolish the DCF. If it has 3 letters, the NSA, the CIA, we need to abolish it. It's all illegal and corrupt. And I kind of want to end on this point here, which is for a long time in the news cycle, it was a big deal, more so on the left, but it was a big deal regardless of how these children were being separated at the border from their families. And that still continues to happen. And I'm for no borders, no bombs, but also you have to realize if the U.S. and the CIA, like I talked about earlier, didn't interfere in South American politics with the CIA, Salvador Allende, United Fruit Company, all this other stuff, then these people wouldn't. It's the American CIA that destroyed their economies in the first place, which is the reason they're wanting to come here now. Anyways, so it was a big uproar, and rightfully so, about children being separated from their families. Well, what we learned today, and if you didn't already know, most of you folks already know, unless you're new watching, because thanks to Antonio, Deanna, you, Rasta Ralph, Last Descendant. Yeah, this is why I smoke Last Descendant. You guys are all sharing the video on text message, email, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. Sharing the videos. People get stolen. Their children get taken from parents every single day from cops. And then if they're lucky enough, they get a supervised visit. Imagine somebody that you created, the government has to supervise you to watch them. And keep in mind, not only do you have these supervised visits, but the police, DCF, and these social workers are literally stealing children every single day from their families without not even a crime committed, not even sometimes accused of a crime. And then if you're lucky enough to be accused of a crime, then you go into family court, which is not open to the public. There's not a jury of your peers, and it's completely unconstitutional in the first place. So what you need to realize, what I want you guys to take with you here today is we need a sense of urgency, right? Because this is something people were getting mad. I was talking about the kids too much. This is a sense of urgency. You need to realize, yes, you need to go get a job and get some food and do your essentials. But after that, you need to keep in the back of your mind. People like Jamie, there are thousands, perhaps millions worldwide, maybe even millions in this country. All right, but for sure, millions worldwide who are going through the same system. Kids that are taken, and it's something that happens every single day, and there's no law. We're supposed to be, we're supposed to have a basis on the law. There's no crime committed. So think about that, let that simmer. I want to say thank you very much to Jamie Starr Johnson for joining. It has been a while. I didn't realize she went through all of this, so thank you for coming on in very short notice.
Yeah, really, thanks.
Her
Really.
Cash App is in the description. It's $ Jamie Starr Johnson, $ Jamie Starr Johnson. And also our YouTube is on screen. It'll be in the description as well.
So much respect for you.
Thank you to Futoy as well. Futoy has been somebody like Jamie that has been there for me and helping me out for years, behind the scenes and now in front of the scenes. And I want everyone to go check out Futoy's channel too. Futoy is incredibly smart, but then he'll also make videos that are just like really important that you have to see, like exposing certain elements and things to look out for in communities and subcultures, right? And things to look out for. So he's like, not only is he like super deep and can teach you something, but he can also tell you something that's very practical. So he could teach you something philosophical, but also something that's very practical that you can take and learn and is applicable to your daily life, whether you're an auditor or a truther. So definitely go check out Futoy's channel. Futoy. Let's put that up on screen too. But actually, what I'm going to do is I'll put it in the description. So it'll be Jamie's description, Cash App. That'll be your YouTube, Futoy's, and then you'll find my socials over there. And we're going to have another stream very soon. Hopefully, we can get Jamie back on very soon for an update to all this too. And please, guys, go over and donate. And yeah, join us over at Telegram. Links are in the description. So check out Jamie, check out Futoy, and most importantly, share this video with everybody that you possibly can. Let's get the word out, because the more people we have concentrating on this, the quicker it's going to change. Remember, be nonviolent, use the Socratic method, keep an open but skeptical.